Welcome to Traumedy with award-winning comedian Nancy Norton.
Let's turn that darkness into light with a little bit of humor and laughter. I'm your host. I am a comedian. I'm a registered nurse. And now I am a nurse to the nurses. I'm a healer for the healers. I love to help people that help people. I just love that. Here's a theory I have. What do you think about this? I don't know personally that I can think of anyone who has come to the healing professions without having been wounded. And I do think that we learn by healing ourselves, by asking tough questions, by gaining compassion through our own wounds. I don't know. It's a theory. This episode, we're looking at some of the gifts behind the trauma and just trusting our entire journey. And that's not easy to do, especially if you're right in the middle of it. I don't expect you to be there. It's usually after the threat has passed. When it's time, when you're ready, and you're ready to take a look at your trauma, move it, shift it, get out of the toxic energy, and maybe laugh at it, you're in the right place. I love this quote from Pete Davidson this week. He said, "Sometimes comedy is the only way through after a tragedy." Pete Davidson's dad was killed when he was only 7 years old, and his dad was killed in 9/11 in a terrorist attack. So he has some insight about it. But yeah, he said that his mom got an Eddie Murphy album by mistake. He was 8 years old. The content was inappropriate, but she said it was the first time he'd laughed in a long, long time. And so she let him keep the album. And now he's a comedian. So now he's healing other people with humor. So here we are. This is peer-to-peer sharing. This is peer-to-peer learning. I hope by sharing our experience that we help you. Maybe you'll come on and share your experience. If you do want to share something with me, please join the Traumedy community on the Facebook page and also message me through my website, nancynorton.tv. I have a speak pipe if you want to share a time that humor has helped you or that you want to share a trauma and you want us to try to make it funny. I got a whole posse of comedy friends. So if you have something that you're like, man, I need to figure out how can I laugh at this, message me. You can just push a button on SpeakPipe, SpeakPipe.com/Traumedy, Tromedy. Welcome to Traumedy.
Yes.
My guest this week is Amber Byers, sitting right here in front of me at my workbench. And Amber is the host of Tadpole Press 100-word writing contest. I only left out one word, the Tadpole Press 100-word writing contest. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. I'm so delighted to be here. It's such an honor.
Yay.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad to know you. I feel like it's wild that we've had maybe one conversation, but I feel like I really know you.
I know. It's so fun. And it's funny because, I think when I first reached out to you, I had this specific agenda of, hey, can I hire you as a comedian to come to my writing retreat? And it obviously didn't work out because you were booked way ahead and whatever. I ended up doing a Japanese tea ceremony
for whatever
and
reason.
yoga.
You did. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
so
probably all for the highest good, probably.
Yes.
To not have a goofball up there distracting people.
No.
You maybe went on a more inward journey.
It was great. It was a beautiful sense of community. You would have been fabulous there. I think that lightness would have been great. But I think the timing, you sometimes get connected to people, even if it's years later, now you're doing this podcast about how to use comedy to overcome trauma. And I've just stepped into really using humor and lightness as healing just recently. So way back then, it's just interesting how it works out, I
trust it. I trust the path crossings. You have been in my consciousness on some level because I feel called to write a memoir.
Yes.
And you're a writing coach. And I do feel like we'll work together on that one because I've just been waiting till it just feels like this is it. And I just know in my life, there's a knowing of this is it. This is the time.
Yes.
And I'm getting closer and closer.
Totally.
I thought it was going to be because the last time you reached out was not that long ago. Or maybe you had a new offering or something. And I was like, ooh, I want to do this. And yet I'm launching Traumedy, and I'm starting this whole
Totally.
other
And
therapeutic
again,
humor
you're
course.
going down a different route, but it's that connection piece that's like, something's gonna happen here.
Yeah, and then the beauty for me is like that we have some common spiritual beliefs and also agender beliefs. Like, wait, what are we even doing with this? I mean, I don't know if it's okay to bring up the whole gender thing right now, but
for sure,
I'm like, what? I love that. I'm just kind of coming to terms, and I say the kids, anyone under 40. I know it's wrong, but I can't help it. Uncle Nance talks to the kids, and I've always been a tomboy, and I've never subscribed to gender in my heart and soul. But I recognize it's a thing in society, but it never felt like it applied to me. I don't know about you. Did you have a similar or different?
I didn't think about it a ton growing up. It's kind of one of those things that's almost invisible. You know, maybe you're just so used to it that it's everywhere. And it wasn't until I was tired of doing my hair and was like, I want to shave my hair. And I was like, whoa, a lot of women have long hair, you know, and this is me as, I don't know, 30s or probably 30s, I think late 30s at the time that I was recognizing this. And then I was like, whoa. Look at all these other things. If like somebody said something sexist, I just got fired up about it. And I was like, that is not how it's going to be, you know?
Yeah.
And my dad told me when I was maybe 8 or 9 or something, there's never been a female president. And I was like, well, that's stupid. I'll do it. And then I grew up and was like, oh, I really don't want to be the president.
That's not my thing.
I do not want to be in that world. But, you know, somebody else should.
Yeah. Somebody else should.
So,
isn't it wild that we still haven't had a female president? To me, that's wild.
But, but vice president, how cool is that?
Okay, let's celebrate. You're right.
Yeah.
Let's look at, we have a vice president.
Yeah.
All right. Celebrate.
I know.
Yay.
Whoop,
all right. I'll hit this.
Okay. Oh my God, we have an audience.
I should take advantage of my roadcaster more often.
That's fun.
But if you want to, yeah. But
great.
But it is cool. So we do have that victory. Well, the other thing I wanted to say before we move into, I want to talk about your Traumedy.
Yes.
And you did say, hey, this contest, by the way, I would like to know. So Tadpole Press, people can enter this contest. Let's talk about this contest. This is first I've heard. I want to enter it. Yeah. How would I enter it? And when can I enter it?
You bet. So go to tadpolepress.com. That's the main website. And then there's going to be a little tab at the top that says contest. And what's fun about it is we host the contest twice a year. So every April 30th and every November 30th are the deadlines.
Yeah. April 30th and November 30th.
Yep. So this started because it was a part of the in-person writing retreat that I did. Just a fun little thing for the few people who came. And then when the pandemic happened and I wasn't able to do an in-person retreat, I was like, well, what can I still do to take it online and make it international? So that was November 2021, the first time I opened it up, and it exploded. We got over 500 entries from 33 different countries.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just grown since then.
I love the length too, because it's inviting. Like, okay,
yes.
100 words. I mean, that's something I'm thinking when I look at certain things online that I have a speak pipe, which I want to promote right now because I want people to call me with your trauma, and you can go to my speak pipe, which I think is like speakpipe/Traumedy, TROMEDY.
What's a speak pipe?
A speak pipe is a way of doing a voicemail without a telephone. It's just on your computer, and you can push a button and talk for 90 seconds and leave me a trauma dump. Trauma dump. I don't know. What am I asking for?
But a mini one.
A mini trauma dump. You have to be efficient because it's 90 seconds. You can hit
Organize your trauma, please.
Please edit your trauma down to 90 seconds. And then it's sort of like the 100-word thing, because 90 seconds, like, okay, what is it I wanted to tell you in 90 seconds? So, and then the idea of it, of course, I think my listeners are people who aren't stuck in the victim energy. I don't know, I'm saying who. If you are stuck in the victim energy, that's okay. Like, but what I think you're here because you're willing to transmute it. You're willing to lighten it up now.
Yeah.
And because I've had part of my life where it's like, don't try to move me out of this. I have been victimized and I am a victim. And so I get it. I've been there, but I think most of our listeners are wanting to like, I've got to get out of this toxic energy. It's killing me because it can.
Totally.
Anyway, I just wanted to say, the 100-word and the 90-second thing. I don't know why, but I want to shift because the original vision with Traumedy was that I wanted people I'm so excited I can't make words. I wanted people to come to a comedy show, tell me a bit of trauma, and let me show you how to take your pain and play with it. And I'll turn it into a comedy routine that's a resource for you. But then I'm like, wow, I got to make sure I protect myself from vicarious trauma because there's certain traumas I'm like, ooh, I can't hear that one.
Yeah.
You know, like
go to the back of the line.
Totally. Oops, I hit my head on the thing, which I tend to do. This is my thing. I hit it over here.
We'll just be knocking everything with my arm.
This will be the episode with a lot of artifact sounds. Okay, so I did the speak pipe thing, speakpipe.com. I think it's /Traumedy, TROMEDY. You know it for here. Now, you were doing this 100-word. This is inviting to me. The reason I know why I mentioned SpeakPipe, because I think it's 100 words to describe what you want people to do. Like it's your welcome message when you land on my page. I think I have 100. I'm not sure if that's the exact number, maybe a number of characters that I have to use the ampersand instead of and.
Hyphenate those two words.
So with 100-word writing contest, and you were saying this last one or the one coming up is about humor.
It was April of 2023, so the one that we just finished. The current one doesn't have a theme. Sometimes we do themes, and it's interesting because it's usually whatever's I'm thinking about at the time. You know, like stuff I want to explore. And so it's fun, right? Because not only do I get to read beautiful writing, but I get to see how people interpret the issues or themes or whatever I've got going on in my own brain.
Oh, yeah.
So like the first one that we took international was on abundance. And then the following one was the power of words. And this is, I think, our third theme, the April one. It's just using humor and lightness as a way to heal.
Now, is there a way to see the entries on the website?
Yes.
So I could go read about humor and, oh my goodness. And then could I contact you if any of those stories, because I share these a lot of times in my keynotes and like, or even here, who knows, we could maybe get permission from a writer to share.
Yeah. And actually I did get permission I brought one because I was like, this would be so perfect. All of the 3 entries that won April were very different styles, which was fun. And I reached out to the 3rd place winner of the April contest. Do you want me to read that right now?
Sure. Okay. So you were saying the 3 winners were all very different, but you had many more, hundreds of thousands. How many entrants?
Just about 900 the last 2 rounds. Wow. We're hoping for 1,000 or more in the November contest.
I can't imagine judging that. You said you bring in other people, you judge it along with others. And
yes, I have a co-judge and we divvy it up.
What's your criteria? Do you have, like, when we judge a comedy competition, we have categories of, before you read that, I'm just curious, like stage presence, originality. Yes. I don't know if originality, I always want authenticity to be a higher reward on the comedy competitions for myself. But there's a lot of, little categories, subcategories of what makes, and it's so subjective. But how do you?
It's super subjective, and that's fine because this is the contest that we're doing with real humans, and for me, it's always about that emotional connection to the piece.
So it's more like, what do you feel? What in your body or even in your spirit environment?
Yeah, sometimes. So one of the winners I brought on the co-judge, one that they picked, literally like took their breath away, and because they're trying to go to bat for this piece, and they're like, it's just I just can't, and they're like, hang on, I gotta breathe. And I was like, I think we need to select this one. But also, so our theme of what we do at Tadpole Press is focused on positivity and clever or unique writing, because I have been reading, my mom says I started reading the words, not just the pictures of books, when I was 3. So that's, 4 decades of reading. And so I have seen a lot of the same things being repeated. And so for me, what's interesting is how can you use language in a new or captivating or clever way that does something unexpected?
Yeah.
Or with a story, maybe there's a little surprise. So it's good writing,
Yeah.
right? But also just and uplifting. So none of the winners will be super violent. You can talk about something difficult if it's like this podcast, where it transmutes it and brings it up into lightness, but not the total darkness going down into hatred and awfulness. I've seen enough of that. I want to see the good stuff now.
Yeah. Or how to, that is, I feel exciting.
Yeah.
I love light and dark. I like to think about looking at life through a comb and moving the comb very quickly in front of your eyes.
That's
and
cool.
There's something exhilarating about the juxtaposition or the change of seasons or in the fall. That transition is exhilarating to me.
Yeah.
And I did have an ex who's a beautiful being. And I mean, very significant person in my life, taught me to journal with higher power and amazing person, highly spiritual, but would say, I only want to live in the light, which I admire, but I'm like, man, I'm not there. I need to touch in. I don't know what it is. I was told that I work like with light workers.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is out there spiritual stuff, but I've learned the term gray worker, and I might be a gray worker because I am not afraid to go to the dark place because I have the buoyancy of spirit and humor.
Yeah.
So I can dive pretty deep, but then I don't want to stay down there very long. Like as long as I can hold my breath, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe that's the parasympathetic, we did on some of those episodes.
Yeah.
And my therapist, I didn't even know this, that breath means spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
That's cool.
How did I not know that? But okay,
beautiful.
I digress all over the place there.
I love it. I love it because I think about this too, is what is the purpose of pain or anguish or darkness? And I question that. And then I question, why am I not questioning what is the purpose of joy and lightness and fun? And then I'm like, maybe it's the same answer. It's just because it is. I don't know.
Well, and it helps to experience it in a fuller way, having known the contrast, I guess. I am asking higher power if I may please learn from delight now rather than suffering.
Oh, I love that.
I'm inviting and I'm promising, I'm like, please, I will listen this time. Like you don't have to hit me with a board. I do think that's what I've been told by different spiritual teachers is like, the universe nudges and nudges and then, it
knows what you actually need.
Yeah, but then you go, no, I'll do it my way. And then, eventually you come around. I did anyway. But I'm asking, can I just I will listen to the subtle, let me learn by delight. And I do look for signs, spirit signs where I get the goosebumps and then I try to follow those rather than having to get hit with.
Yes.
But it's all, I think, a part of expanding consciousness.
Yes. I love that because as I've gone through trauma in my own life, I've gotten to the point where I'm very grateful for it because of it's, I just picture it all as a teacher and the things that, you can learn from dark places is resilience and independence and really, so I just, that whole perspective, I've gotten to it with the darkness, I'm grateful that that's what I went through, but I love the new shift too. I'm ready to learn from the delight. What does delight have to teach?
Yeah. And, going back to my very first guest who inspired this podcast, Heather Callahan, who survived a serial killer and how she talks so much about post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
And I mean, we wouldn't wish that trauma on ourselves again or on anyone, but we also may not want to go back and change anything.
Right.
And I know for me, I feel that way. And I just met another great spiritual teacher for me who survived another attack like that.
Yeah.
Her name's Allison Ward. And I saw her on another podcast and she said that she calls it the beautiful gift in the ugly box. Her post-traumatic growth, where she has all this kind of intuition that now she does sort of life coaching and spiritual intuitive
sure.
readings and things like that.
Yeah, and I don't know that you can go back and change one thing. And, it's like the butterfly effect. Wasn't that a movie or something?
Right, the ripple.
Yeah, and then who do you end up with? And I love who I am today. And yes, that, so for me, where my journey started was verbal abuse as a kid. And, just to touch on that briefly and show that's what led me into so much, right? So for me, school was a really safe place. And
that was your oasis?
Calm. Yeah, it was calm. It was predictable. I got praised a lot.
You're a good student.
Oh, for sure. And you just soak that up. And I remember I had one teacher, like early elementary school, doing simple math. And this teacher said, I could have just used yours as the key to grade everybody else's. And I was like, I like this situation. And that's, I think how you just get drawn into things. And now, so I went to law school. I was an attorney for a while. Now I have my own company that I do my own writing and did editing for years. And so that was, how can you separate out all those good things? You just got to give thanks for all of it.
I love it. Let's give gratitude. And I know this is going to be controversial, but I would like to give gratitude for my journey, trauma included. I do. I thank my mother for the gifts, my father for the gifts. It's easier to, I know, since they have passed. And now that they're on the other side, maybe it's just me. I can reframe them any way I want, but I see them fully free and not like I can't embarrass them anymore. Maybe I can't. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I might still embarrass them, but I know I can't cause them so much harm that they might want to kill themselves, I
got past that stage.
Yeah. I don't have to worry that I'm going to embarrass my mom so much that she will try and kill herself, which she did, when I came out on Evening at the Improv in 1994. Okay.
Wow.
Boom, bam. I drop it in there, but hey, sorry and yet grateful, right? Because she definitely derailed whatever that path I was on to be on a sitcom and stuff. Who knows who I would be ego-wise if I got a sitcom. I'm already trying to tell my ego, quiet down. Now, okay, so you were going to read.
Oh, yeah.
That. Is this a good time to do that?
Let's do it.
So this is from I'm going to say it right, the Tadpole Press 100-word writing contest.
You got it.
Third place. I love that you're reading the third place one. Somehow I love that. I'm just like, I finished third in a lot of foot races in my life. I'm like, third place. Let's shout out.
Well, and again, third place is just, the reason I love this one is because it's a different quality. Some of them were quieter or some of them were more empowering. And this one just it just calls to be read out loud.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Okay. So here we go. This one is from Chandler A. Hart from the United States. And again, the theme was using humor and lightness as a way to heal. All right. The botanist. They say that when you're struggling, you should buy a plant and name it after yourself. The idea is that nurturing the plant version of yourself will motivate you to nurture your real self. I bought a withering tomato plant, replaced the soil, and trimmed the dead limbs. I said hello to her every day, calling her by name, my name, of course. But within the first month, she shriveled and died. Dismayed, I sought professional help. I cried more than I spoke at the first session. After listening so graciously, the woman replied, "Ma'am, I'm just a botanist."
I had so many feelings during that. I had
tell
to have a
me.
little tear when the
tomato plant.
When she was nurturing herself and she died.
Yes.
My heart broke a little bit.
Yeah.
I just felt that little sweetness. I have a relationship with plants, so I totally was. But I've never thought to I never thought of it as an extension of myself or even a mirror. Like, that's beautiful. And then, and then the humor at the end. Go to a therapist. I'm just a botanist.
Yeah. Because you can picture, right? This person is distraught and they're setting the stage. Like, here, I got to bring it back over again. You know, like they're starting therapy in the first session. Right, because they're, you know, that's what therapists call it. You go in and botanists, you know, you just picture somebody answering at the plant store and getting this whole spiel of like, what just happened?
That is a beautiful story. The weaving of it all, like the fact that you would be spilling your guts to a botanist, which I think I do to people all the time in different ways, when it's like, I'm just delivering the mail today. I used to do jokes about when I first came out as a lesbian that I would come out to everyone. Like, I was so excited. Like, I had to tell people at the grocery store,
awesome.
you know, I'm a lesbian. Okay. I don't know. I had like, you know, just this need to share it with the world. And now, of course, I've come out as kind of nothing. I mean, I've lost the labels. I call myself labelless.
Did you ever get any good responses from the people in the grocery store? Or was it always like, okay.
Yeah, kind of more like that. More like, yeah, all right, okay.
I'm going to go buy eggs now. Or
yeah.
Whatever.
I have other. That was good intel. All right. I don't even know. I can't recall some of the responses. It was just a sense.
I bet kids would have had a good response.
What is that? Yeah. When my son asked me one time, Mom, why are you a lesbian? I think he was in like first, second grade when I was with my partner, Diane, at the time, who was the beautiful being of love and light. Shout out to Diane. And I tried to explain it. Like, I started over explaining it, which was not like, I should have probably asked first, can you tell me more about your question? And I was already going, well, I don't know. I like women, but I also like men. But then women connect with my heart. And then and I quote, goes, taxi. He was always funny. We had this line in our house when he was getting bored with what I was saying. But that started organically because he saw a taxi in Boulder, Colorado, which was rare. Awesome. He's like, taxi, like squirrel. I'm bored.
I got to use that line.
Taxi. Okay. All right. Oversharing Nancy. Probably people at home right now going, taxi, come on. Safe word. That's our safe word when I'm getting to TMI and more than you needed to know. Okay, tell me more about how you interpret it more, because I just got emotional, and then I love that they were talking to a botanist. And
it is, you can honor that sadness, and it's also, I pictured it. So this was 2023, right? So we've gone through the pandemic by now, but that struggle that people have is real, and you can just picture people being like quarantined at home. Like, what do? I don't know. I'm going to buy a tomato plant, but they chose not a healthy, vibrant one. They chose a withering one.
Yeah,
right?
They wanted to nurture one that was struggling.
Yes, and just the whole thing went wrong, and they're like, oh God, what does this mean? And it's, you know, about how do we interpret the circumstances around us, and this person clearly interpreted it as being so personalized. My life is doom. But the thing that they did so well with this is they transmuted that pain and took it into, okay, now we just got to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right.
So it can touch on both the light and the dark, right?
Yes, simultaneously.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's something, I don't know if you've heard of the Course in Miracles, I struggled with the first chapter. And again, shout out to Diane. She's tried to get me to live in the light. But she's done it twice. And it is, I think there's beautiful messages in it. But the point of it, what the beginning was, you cannot live in the light and the dark. Or you can't be in fear and in love. And I'm like, yeah, I can. I can. Like a roller coaster. I'm seriously terrified. I'm not somebody who really enjoys it. I have but I force myself to go on roller coasters sometime just to conquer some fears and probably that trauma. Who knows? But I do feel like I can hold both of those. I don't know
that.
I don't know. Am I really, or am I just switching real quick? I don't know.
Either way.
Either way.
Yeah. No, I think it's great because this whole lightness is a new stage for me in life. I really identified with the victim story growing up. And plus, you get in school long enough and you start to take yourself very, very seriously. And everything is just utmost matter of importance. And you combine a little bit of perfectionism, right? And there's not a lot of room for humor in any of that.
Yeah.
And I think it was as my mom she passed away about 2 years ago now. Yeah. And as she was going through that process, really at the end, that's where I started to realize there's something here in this humor that could benefit me. And, instead of just focusing on nose to the grindstone, focusing on resilience and academics and entrepreneur
being
and all
so
that type
driven
A.
and
yes. And it's like, here's how I think of it. The first half of my life, I got a lot of tools on how to survive. And now with the humor piece, now I'm like, hold on, let's have some fun around here.
Yay.
What can I do to thrive?
Yeah.
Even if things are really, really difficult, there's humor and you can take yourself not so seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is one thing. I just did a presentation for these CEOs of these Texas rural hospitals, and it's so challenging right now with rural hospitals not having enough funding, and they're under a lot of stress. And there is a difference between taking your job seriously and taking yourself seriously. And so it's like, can you kind of delineate that? And like, yes, I take my thing I try to get out there is like, humor means you really are taking things seriously, because it's because you're taking things seriously that you need that relief. Yeah. So it's a sign actually that you're under, for me anyway, you can tell if I'm funnier when I'm under a lot of stress. But I love that it was something so sad, losing your mother, who sounds like you had a beautiful relationship with her, and losing your most important person that brought you to lightness.
It was. And it's so painful. I was just really grateful that my sister called and said, because this had been, they diagnosed her with pancreatic cancer and gave her maybe 4 months. And we're on like, I don't know, a year and a half in, right? And so my sister calls.
She was resilient. She
was stubborn as heck. I mean,
she was determined to live.
Yes. And part of that was she wanted to hang on until my dad was ready.
Oh, because they're still married, or they were separated, or
so this is my other dad, my stepdad. Okay. So she's married with my stepdad and just really didn't want to leave him alone, because they had been together for almost 40 years, 35, 40 years by that point.
So she was hanging on for him to get ready to be able to manage without her.
Yeah. Yep. And finally at the end, I think he just saw how much pain she was in. And so anyway, what happens is my sister calls and says, I think if you want to see her, you need to come out. So I was able to spend the last week with her. And she was independent too. There was only about 24 hours where us kids got to take care of her at home with, she'd been set up on hospice and whatnot. So we did shifts, and we didn't know how long this would last. We didn't know if we were looking at 3 days or 3 weeks. You're just, and time anyways goes into that funny space. Yeah. So we did shifts, and for some reason we thought 4 hours. We'll do 4-hour shifts like through the night. And then they're like, somebody's got to sleep. So we put it into 8-hour chunks. Okay. And so I was sleeping, and I said, I want to be in the room with her at the very end. My brother was like, I don't want to at all.
Some people, my brother didn't want to be in with my dad. But you did, you were clear.
And so I woke up after sleeping for 8 hours, and it's the first morning after we let us take care of her. And I ended up getting in right after she'd passed, because my sisters, we didn't really know,
Yeah, if you don't know, you don't know. Yeah. Because she had the signs that or she just left really quickly.
Yeah, but what happened was I'm actually glad that I wasn't there at the moment, because so their bedroom has a sliding glass door onto a little patio, and there's constantly a debate with Squirrels and my dad. And as my mom is dying, my dad starts banging on the sliding glass door saying, "Get out of here, get out of here." And so my two sisters who are in the room are like, "Dad, like, what are you doing? Mom is literally taking her last breath right now." And you're banging on the door, yelling at Squirrels. So I came in right after all this happened. And I was like, thank God I missed that, right? But it was beautiful, because then we just started talking about, well, Mom was so squirrely and stuff right before she'd passed, doing, she wanted to tell us like the answer to the mysteries of the universe. And then she's like, I forgot. And we're like, oh my God, we almost had it.
Because they do kind of go back. I do think when people die, I did help people through. And so she was getting these downloads of the meaning of life.
Ultimate power. And then she's like, I forgot. And we're like, Mom. So anyway, we're like, I think your spirit was in those squirrels, because there was this one that was looking in and, eating all the bird food and whatnot. And that's why my dad hated them. So I was like, you can't. Well, and honestly, she probably needed to hear, how clear can you get if you've held on a year and a half waiting for him to be ready and he's banging saying, "Get out of here.
Get out of here."
I was like, okay. That's what she needed to hear. So that Christmas, I got my dad a little squirrel feeder and some peanuts. I was like, make sure you feed Mom. Don't scare her away.
Okay. Okay. So, and today, what happened on my porch, which doesn't happen every day.
Yes.
A little squirrel came.
Roscoe.
We've named, we don't know, it could be several squirrels that we have just named Roscoe, but I hadn't seen Roscoe this week at all. I just want you to know.
Really?
No, Roscoe hasn't been around this week. So, and I was talking to you about something, about having like a writer salon in the yard.
Yeah.
Because I said, come look at my deck. And then I'm telling you something about, and then you go, wait, there's a squirrel right there.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was right. I do.
Totally.
Squirrels are important to me. I forget which stories I've shared on here, but that's beautiful. And I will go back to because my mind, I have the ADHD squirrel brain. I always say I'm part squirrel because my dad lived on squirrel during the Great Depression. So there's a lot of squirrel. There's a lot of squirrel up in here, as you could tell by my brain. But I love squirrels. And yes, I will eat them if the quinoa runs out, I always say. But I have been with people, I'm telling you, that is beautiful, that your dad was saying, get out of here. So many things came to my mind, which people, so many times when they're dying, their family member has to say, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to leave. I've seen so many people hang on until their significant other, their mother or whoever it is said, you just, it's okay.
Yeah.
And to tell them to like,
so forcefully.
Yeah. Get out of here. And like a lot of people say, they'll open a window so the spirit can go out the window, as if they don't really need the open window. But I mean, for him to just kind of banging on a glass door and wow.
And just that whole experience. So then later that day, my mom's passed away. I don't have a lot of experience being around dead bodies, right? I've been at funerals of grandparents and whatnot, but we're all just processing it in our own way. And my mom is very peaceful in the bed, and we each took turns, going in and saying our farewell. And so when I go in, I was like, I just want to lay down next to my mama. Aww. So I lay down and I put the blanket over us, and I'm just sobbing and telling her thank you and all these beautiful things. And also thinking, is this weird? Is this because it's my mom, but it's not my mom. It's in those first few hours when it's now just a body, but it still doesn't. And so, and you're also like, in our culture, there's not a lot of interaction with dead bodies. And So all this is going through my head, but at the same time, I'm just feeling like this is so right. And this is my mom, and just letting that grief pass through me. And as I'm questioning this, my sister, who was in the shower, comes in buck naked to my mom's dresser and is like, going through her clothes because she wants to wear my mom's clothes and just feel that closeness.
Oh, that's so
And
beautiful.
so I was like,
She's coming in naked. You're
and I'm in the bed with my mom, and just
nothing to see here.
right. And so it's like, you can be very serious and analytical about it, or you can just acknowledge this is just some part of weird life, and it's beautiful and funny. And there was that message afterward, like, okay, we just can't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah. And at the same time, very serious, like sacred.
Yes,
like sacred. It's a sacred space.
Mm-hmm.
And humor can be sacred. Like the
Yes.
authenticity of it all.
Yeah.
To me, my love language is authenticity and transparency. I just get off on it, like it has a vibe. And I just saw an Instagram reel this morning that said they have measured vibrations of emotions, and the highest vibe is not love, but authenticity.
Interesting.
And I don't know how that's an emotion. Authenticity is not really an emotion. So I got to look more.
It's like a behavior I think of. I'm trying to think now of.
It's a way of being. I don't know. I'm going to look up how that is measured.
Right.
But I will try. That just is so authentic.
Yeah.
This is so real. And and yet, like it all is happening at once.
It is.
You're grieving. I mean, it's so, our brains can't really comprehend death. It's just so weird. Like that, they're here a second ago, and now the only comparison we might have is when your child is born. Like, it's so weird that they didn't exist. Just
right.
They didn't take a breath a second ago, and they take that. I'm so grateful for my nursing career that I got to be present for births and for
the whole cycle.
Yeah. And I didn't get to birth my son physically. Yeah. So it's like, I really miss that.
Yeah.
I have to have a little tear all of a sudden. I'm like, just let that come. But I got to see others.
For sure.
And it's so sacred to see that first breath.
Yeah.
And to see the last one. I know you didn't see quite the last one, but you're close enough.
I think it was for what I don't know that I would have laughed at the banging on the window story. I can laugh at it now, but at the time, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
That sense of safety and like calm. And
and your history, you said you have a history of verbal abuse. And then, and I learned about highly sensitive people from Christy Buckley on that I think it's my third episode. And I'm like, oh, I never knew about that. I feel like there's some part of me that has a little of HSP. Do you have a little, or do you sense you're sensitive?
So I read a lot, and I saw a book that I added to my list about highly sensitive people. And then I never checked it out from the library. I was like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Don't need to label it.
I'm just not going to stress about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm into this new phase of I call it my hero journey. You know, like there's a victim that felt very familiar and very safe. Right. And then there's the hero journey. And actually, so for New Year's this year, instead of doing like a resolution or whatever, I was watching the Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix.
Oh, I did watch it.
So good.
Yeah,
I love them. And Meghan Markle is talking about how her friend did this thing at a party and said, what one word would you choose for the coming year? Oh. And so I was like, I'm going to do that.
One word.
Yeah. Do you need to think about it before I tell you my word while you have a blank slate?
Oh, I was just imagining what your word was, but
curious. Yeah.
Well, you shared hero's journey, so I was wondering if it was hero.
It was.
Yeah. So I love this.
That's my little, I printed out a little,
Oh.
Because that's just the reminder. Don't stay stuck.
Yeah.
Part of being a victim is I want everybody to acknowledge my pain.
Yeah.
And can you compensate?
Yeah.
it.
Can you validate it?
Yeah, first validate it.
Can you witness it?
Yep.
Can you tell me
And then can
it's
you
real?
keep me poor because you have all the power and you're going to step in and...
Can you
and
keep fixing it?
Yes.
And so you're handing over your power.
Exactly.
And so be your, you know what's wild? And I'll find the bracelet. I don't know if it's out here, but when I went to the conference for the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor, they had these little bracelets that, I don't know, different ones, like, you know, the ones you've seen for cancer survivors and those little rubber bracelets. And mine, I chose, said, be your own hero.
No way.
Wild. I love the synchronicity of our relationship.
Seriously.
I just feel this. And that is what I'm coming to with this peer-to-peer sharing on this podcast is I fancy myself a healer, but really I know we can only heal ourselves, but we can sort of connect folks with the healing energy, and it's up to, or the healing tools or whatever they are, the healing love, the healing light, you know, but everyone has to be their own healer ultimately.
Yeah. It's like we have our responsibility for ourselves, right? But at the same time, we can simultaneously serve as teachers to other people. And I think that's a lot of it is we're all teachers out there, but whose job is it? And that's it of being the hero. It's my job. And that's kind of terrifying and can be uncomfortable to realize, whoa, I'm responsible for my emotional safety, for my financial safety, you know, all of that is like, oh man.
It's like it's that whole adulting thing, like being in this program I'm doing for adult children of dysfunctional families. I'm doing a guidebook called the Loving Parent Guidebook, and it's about becoming your own loving parent.
Yeah.
And as much as we say our parents were the instruments of our birth, and ultimately I have to parent myself with I do believe in higher power. So I parent myself with higher power. And I don't know myself as an adult. I realize sometimes I know my inner teenager. I know my inner wounded child, but I'm just at 63 years old getting acquainted with my adult self.
Well, it's your newest identity, right?
Better late than never. But I'm just starting my adulthood at this age.
So beautiful though, you know, to step into that, and who cares what age it is?
Hey, I'm glad to do it. So that being your own hero, being the person who picks you up, but then there can also be people along our path that help pick us up. Sure. You know, I was thinking about that, even like with doctors and nurses and healers and Reiki masters, and we can seek out helper healers.
Yes.
Or they find us. Like if I'm out here and I see somebody fall, I'm running out, you know, I'm going to help pick you up.
Yeah.
And it's that, where's that nuance of after someone's helped pick you up, are you okay? Do you need stitches? Now, like psychologically, I'm trying to think of the metaphor for that, you know, after being, you know, I know labels are something you're avoiding, and I love that because I don't want to get too attached to complex PTSD that I have been, but there's something about labels that sort of help me too to understand things.
What kind of labels?
Like psychological labels, like complex PTSD from childhood traumas.
Yeah.
Or
oh, you mean like with the highly sensitive person? Type thing? Yeah. That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like we don't need to get pigeonholed or get stuck, because I do feel like there's something static about a label.
Yeah.
Not dynamic. We're dynamic beings. We're verbs, right?
Yeah, I love that.
I don't know. Am I stretching it with a writer here?
No, it reminds me of some indigenous languages. Actually, 70% of the language is verbs, as opposed to English. I think it's like 30% or something. So it's, you know, and you kind of, and go, I have it written down on a blog post, so I may or may not be reciting the correct statistics. But yeah, it talks about how everything is alive when everything is a verb. So it's like to be a lake, right? It's not something you own. it's something that is, because it could be a bay or a river instead.
It's a life force.
Yeah.
Rather than a noun.
Yeah.
Like a tree. Oh, I
to
love
be a tree.
being.
What would that be?
Yeah, what would that be? So the verb is be. And I backed off my microphone. I do that. Being. I mean, what I find interesting is the word being. Being sounds like running, like ing. So being is, how did being, somehow we made that a noun. A being instead of being.
Right. Yeah.
What?
And all these ideas I got from this book my mom gave me, Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. So good.
I will put a link to that in the show notes. So will you send me that link to that book?
You bet.
And you probably know groovy places to get books that aren't mega store.
I go to my library.
You go to the library.
Because I read so many books. It'd be like,
you just have
so much.
Too many.
Well, and I don't like collecting stuff anyway. I like a clean space at home, but
I love that.
the
I wish
libraries.
I
I just donate to the library once a year and then just go get free books. And our library is fantastic.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I have yet to visit the library except to vote.
Oh,
Didn't even go in.
Just the box outside.
Just the box outside. I'm like, Nance, what if you read a book from a library? Okay,
wait, hold on. Because you're into podcasts. Do you ever listen to books?
I do. I am an oral learner.
Yeah.
I have a bit of, I've never been diagnosed because in our day, we didn't get diagnosed with dyslexia and ADHD and what, on the spectrum or whatever, because I feel like I have a little composite of those things. Yeah. But yeah, I love listening to books.
You can still go to the library
and get Audible?
an account. And then you don't have to pay Amazon or Audible. Honestly, I get confused because you buy a book on Audible, but then where does it go? You can only listen to it on there. I don't know. Not to diss it. I'm going to make audiobooks and put it on Amazon. But the library, they have a system where you can use their app is called Libby or something through Overdrive. And if the book's available as an audiobook, I mean, that's how I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, because if you don't have as much time to just sit on the couch, but you have a minute, nobody's with you while you're doing dishes.
Cleaning house. And I love cleaning house with Audible. Yes. I love it with a podcast. Or I hope that people at home will listen to Traumedy as they clean their space. That's something I want to learn, is decluttering. That's a family value we have. Yeah. It's something we always joked with my mom, like she would move the piles, and bless her heart, 5 kids. I mean, come on, 5. I have 1 and I'm tired, and he's 19 and he takes care of him. He's at work right now.
Yeah.
My mom had 5 kids and she worked full time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't fault her, but but I think it's more of a psychological thing. There was something attached, I feel, that was a lot deeper. One of my housemates said, what do you think? Maybe it's something to focus on. Like if I look at myself and go, oh, I'm bad because I have clutter, instead of actually I have trauma that I don't want to look at. So let's look at my clutter and focus on that for
Yeah.
But you have clean space.
I love clean space.
Oh, nice.
I also live with my husband who loves collecting things.
Oh.
So that's, a learning experience.
A little yin yang on the declutterer and the collector. That makes sense. That makes sense that y'all are together. And then you have to dust his G.I. Joes or what?
That's
Does he have any G.I. Joes?
It's Legos, Does
he like Legos?
Yeah.
Does he have Lego sets?
Oh, yeah.
And are they together? Like he keeps them together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's what I told him. I said, you need to dust and be in charge of that. Or every time I have to pick it up and dust, I want to throw it out of the house and donate it. And he's like, okay, don't dust.
Can you use dust off on Legos? I've thought about, I have a Lego tree house that part of my recovery work, we were supposed to build we're supposed to imagine a place where we can put our inner child and our inner teenager to play or rest. And then we had another room to put our inner critical parent. So we could tell them, we got this. And I visualized this treehouse, and I kid you not, that very day I went to the brick store, and there was this treehouse that looked exactly like the one in my mind's eye. And I bought this treehouse.
I love that so much.
And they said to build it or make it or draw it. So I have this Lego treehouse.
That is so cool.
But I've been thinking about how to dust it. So can you use dust off? I'm like, I don't know the force. I got to check. I'll have to check.
I just
ask
use
your
like
husband.
a washcloth and water. I like to clean without chemicals.
Oh, right. Dust off has the propellant that probably destroys the ozone.
Probably.
Maybe I'll get a little feather duster.
Yeah.
I'll show you my treehouse. I want to see your husband's Lego collection now.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's interesting. I love that, that you've set a boundary. That's part of the hero. You're being your own hero.
Yes.
Instead of getting resentful or angry, just set a boundary and like, hey, I'm not going to dust this because it frustrates me because I vibe with clean, dusted surfaces.
Yeah.
And it probably does. I know that helps your organization and writing and everything.
And it ties into my perfectionism a little bit and, my organization. And so it's learning to have a little bit of an expansive boundary and this isn't just my house. This is your house too. And what does that look like when we mush all our stuff together? But he's great.
Yeah. Oh, you're so lucky. I have yet to manifest a partner that I got to be my own best friend first. That's the problem. But I'm glad that you have this beautiful person in your life and your family.
Yeah.
So now that you've come to lighten up a little bit, have you had a shift in the milieu of your home? Because when I read these articles about therapeutic humor, I'll give you a second to think about it, but it changed my life. I started reading these articles. I was, catching my look in my own phone when it was off, like, I didn't know I was looking so angry all the time and tired and crabby. And my son's having to look at that face.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was like, hey, and then I saw these articles and I started playing and I just learned the term gamification and I was doing that gamification. I was doing it. I started gamifying, like cleaning up. We'd put on the same music, Honky Tonk Heroes on what is KGNU in Boulder, Honky Tonk Heroes on Saturday morning. And then we would clean to Honky Tonk Heroes.
That's great.
And then we have a dance party at night after we clean up. Then we put on it when he's little, we'd put on dance music. And then to go out the door, he hated socks. We stopped it. We just started having sock bomb fights. So I started making these gamification of lightening it up. It shifted the whole energy. Yeah. Anytime something really bad happened, we turn into a Monty Python sketch. Like, oh dear, if you put a bad British accent on something, it's like hard to be angry. What did you spilt the milk and it's going in your shoe.
Oh no.
And we're late.
Not on top of everything too.
Right? Yeah. So it's a little thing. And I'm sure it wouldn't work for British people who are annoyed, but
I wonder how that.
I apologize to
they do American accents.
Yeah, I bet they do like a redneck accent or something.
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking
fire.
South.
Yeah.
South.
Well, shoot fire. We've spilt the milk.
That's funny. No, it's interesting because when you asked, how is this lightness, what does that look like now that I introduce it into who I am and my relationships? And I was like, oh, that I love the accent and your gamification. I was like, maybe I need to do that a little more because I think how it kind of manifested this year was there's, when you do really deep work and you're creating a new identity and it might be good. You might be moving toward the light, but it's like, for me, I had to go into the deep, dark, murky stuff and bring it all up. So we've just had tremendous fights this year because it's like all of this is just come up in order to be released. And thankfully we've been together long enough that, we've adopted and changed who we are and we just always navigate that. But yeah, I mean, it was intense. I wouldn't say there was lightness like quite yet. It was more like the upheaval of getting all of that darkness and murkiness. You just picture the murk or the muck at the bottom of a swamp.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes your face go, ugh.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm probably doing that thing
Things
with my
that make your face go, oh, I don't like this. It's like I used to get so crabby when I cleaned the bathroom. Like, I don't want, like I'm kind of germophobic. And I'm like, I say germ aware. But anyway, if anybody else calls me that, I'm like, no, I'm germ aware. But I get that icky feeling, or that real agitated or just, you're on the edge of a trigger probably because you're unearthing old traumas. And so as you're unearthing that with your partner, you're fragile and it's a lot to manage. Be gentle with yourself.
Yeah, thank you. It feels like kind of a birthing process.
And that's painful.
It is painful. It's leading to something beautiful and good. But so I think that's my lightness is like there's the pain part of that, bringing that to life at the moment.
And during a woman, and I've been there when women we call that last phase of labor is, I call it situational narcissism when I'm under a lot of stress. I haven't given birth, but I've been through painful things that make me very like inwardly, I'm trying to survive right now. And the world you can't take care of other people when you're birthing. You have to go within so deeply and it's so painful. It's not, you wouldn't even think about laughing right then.
Right.
Because it feels like life or death. It feels kind of like life or death, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And then, but afterwards, then it's like, oh, looking back, okay, that was, because one of the things I have people share stuff during shows. And one of them, this woman was sharing when her doctor was stitching her up after giving birth, doing her episiotomy repair. And she just farted in his face. I was like, oh man. I go, that's I bet that woke him up, if he was tired. Like a lot of times they get called in the middle of the night. Maybe maybe it was for the highest good that he needed that for the drive home. So he'd stay alert, like, oh shit, that woman just farted. I mean, I'm sure women, because there's, I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on during childbirth, right? It's just like out of your control. Yes. But afterwards you gotta, are you starting to laugh? Are you still in the birthing process?
No, I think I'm coming out of it. I mean, that's a perfect transition story because, the other thing to explain, I think being a victim, especially of verbal abuse, if it's not recognized or acknowledged by anybody, you start to question your own sanity a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you're like a little bit of a hypochondriac, right? Like, okay, well,
is this
nobody's saying this is wrong. So something in me and my body must be wrong.
Right.
That's how
something's wrong with me. And that's what we do, especially with parents.
Yeah.
It's me. It can't be them.
Right. And you internalize it all, or I internalized it all for years. So anyway, I would have this experience of like, well, something with my body must be broken. And every time they'd be like, no, you're fine. Well, so this, if you're okay going into medical stuff, I'll just share this story.
And I'm just going to check the time real quick because I want to hear this and I want to make sure that I can, because I think I have a 1:00 appointment. Yeah. Amber, we might have to resume this. That's okay. I thank you so much. I literally have to jump in my car to I didn't know it was 12:40.
It's 12:40?
It happened because we love connecting and the time goes like that. Yeah. All right. Stay tuned. We may have a part 2. Perfect. Like we did with Wendy Friesen. Okay. I would love to have a part 2 with you because I feel like there's a whole nother.
The next step.
Yeah, next. Yeah. I'm loving the part 2s. I got to say, this is my second part 2. Okay. Thank you, Amber. Thank you for this hour.
Thank you so much.
And I have enjoyed it thoroughly. So I'm going to turn off this machine and we'll tune in next week for Traumedy Tuesday. All right. Bye.
Bye.
I want to thank my guest, Amber Byers. She will be back next week. Traumedy Tuesday, part 2 with Amber Byers. It's a good one. I've already heard it, just so you know. And I want to thank my son for putting together this music loop for Traumedy. And he promises season 2, he's going to change it up. I don't know what it's going to be. He's busy. He loves composing and arranging, and he's got other stuff going on. So I have to wait. And I want to just thank you, the listener. Get a hold of me. NancyNorton.tv. Reach out to the Tadpole Press, tadpolepress.com for Amber Byers. Get in that writing contest, 100-word writing contest. And what else do you want to know? Do you have any questions? Let me know. Join the SpeakPipe. Push that button, speakpipe.com/traumedy. Have a good week. And remember, no matter what, keep laughing.
Do you know someone who's isolated with trauma? Share the Traumedy podcast.